Now, before we start, just a moment of silence for Chadwick Boseman. So we just got back from seeing Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, as you may have guessed because you clicked on this video. I think first and foremost, I just want to say that movie was fantastic.
It was better than I could have hoped.
Phenomenal. Like, I don't know. Oh, spoilers ahead. Duh.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk a little generally, but
spoilers are ahead.
Spoilers, we gonna get into details.
Yes. But generally the movie was so beautiful. It was just well written. It was funny while also like letting you be sad and letting you like mourn this loss of this character and this person. Like it was amazing. The story was great, visuals great, music was great. Everything about it was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, I cried.
So did I. And if you guys know this channel, I don't like to cry at things. And I did. One part specifically, I cried.
It's hard to not cry.
I teared up. I teared up for a lot of the movie, but the tears didn't fall. And then one part, they fell. Like I had no control over that. They just fell. But anything else generally you have to say?
Great acting.
Great
cast.
Great acting.
Sets, the wardrobe.
You know what? They kept a lot of things about this movie under wraps too. They kept a lot of things under wraps. Like nothing leaked out.
Yeah.
So they had a tight little group, good little group there.
Oh, I was gonna get my Funko Pops. I have like 5 Black Panther Funko Pops. I'm getting more.
Now watching the movie, you see why it was an issue with like Letitia Wright,
because she's the movie.
Yeah, not getting like the vaccine, and they like you had to be vaccinated to be on the set, and like she is the movie, like she's literally she's the movie. So you can't move on with the movie without her.
I'm not gonna say it couldn't exist, but that movie
could not exist without her. It would have been a completely different movie.
I don't even know.
There's no way that it could have been the same movie without her. And like, I mean that meaning like many of the other characters could go and it would be fine.
Yeah, no.
But her, no.
Not at all.
All right, so we will be getting into more detail now. So if you haven't seen it and you just wanted to see our little review and what we felt about it.
Yep, 10 out of 10. It was great.
Amazing. Loved it. Wonderful. You can go now. If you've seen it, or if you don't care about spoilers, continue watching.
Yeah, and that's your own personal choice, but yeah. Please, if you
Oh, yes. Keep going. I'm just hyping you up, hype man.
Please just go watch it. Please just go watch it. Please, I'm begging, like, it's your choice, obviously, but I am begging you to just go watch the movie without hearing what we have to say. Please. Yes. Please.
Also, if you have seen it, no spoilers in the comments, please. Thank you. If you're going to say something, please be general. We don't want you to spoil it for anyone else.
If you want, you can like put a timestamp to something we say specifically, but don't.
Or you can put spoiler alert, obviously, like in the comment. And like,
but make sure you enter.
Yeah, enter so that your comment is in the read more.
Yes.
So spoiler alert and then enter. Yeah. Because, eyes just gaze and you wind up seeing words and you're like, oh. All right. So moving into the spoiler portion.
I would like to say that we are going chronologically, but knowing us, we're probably
we're gonna try to go chronologically.
So they start off punching you in the face.
Punching you in the face.
Right in your heart.
We both thought it would start at the funeral. They said no. No.
Theater was bone silent. Nobody was even eating.
Like, especially when the like Marvel Studios thing came on, nobody said a single thing. There was not a single sound. You could hear a pin drop.
Yeah. Yep.
Silence.
Yep. No, not a single thing. And I remember because after that scene, I started hear people like slowly open their snacks and like slowly go for like their chips or popcorn or whatever. I could tell
people wanted to, but they were like, no.
It's like, am I even allowed I was like, am I even allowed to breathe right now?
Speaking of breathing, this isn't in chronological order, kind of, but like anytime they were underwater, I was like, which was a lot. I can't breathe. Like, especially when she was in the little thing going into when she was in the suit.
Oh yeah, that time. Most of the time I was fine, but in that suit, I was like, I don't like this, especially because you were going so deep. It kept
could not breathe. I don't know if you heard me, but I literally took a deep breath. I was like,
I didn't hear you. Did you hear me say nope, nope?
I did not.
See, in our own little worlds,
bro. When I tell you that this movie especially had me like I was not focused on anything else except the person in front of me who was vaping, and I kept seeing the smoke come up, and then I kept smelling the vape. I hated it. It made me so mad. Also, somebody behind us turned their light on once, and it was on the ceiling, and I was like, "Excuse me."
The guy next to me made little comments, and I heard he was kind of loud, not disruptively loud, but just louder than like I guess both me and Anya were. So I heard his comments, and we were always on the same page. So I was like, we're kindred spirits here.
I guess going next in order of things,
the funeral,
or
the Marvel logo.
Well, the Marvel logo.
They did that. They changed that for Black Panther on Disney Plus when we did our Marvel watch, which you can watch on Instagram. Fun fact in our highlights reel. Wasn't expecting that, didn't know, and then they did that one and almost cried right here on this couch.
Yep.
And then they did it again for this one, and I almost cried again.
It was so much.
I spent this like basically the whole movie like with wet eyes.
This movie was a try not to cry. You know how they try not to laugh, they try not to cry. Yes, you will fail, especially because like you said Ishara said in the car, she was like, you watch this movie being like, oh yeah, they're mourning T'Challa, and then you're like, the actors are mourning Chadwick. Like, he's an actual person. So like, they're going through all of these emotions and crying, and like, some of these tears might be real. I was like, there are like a few scenes where you're like, are you even acting at this point? Or is this just them having a camera on you watching you cry?
But then it got... So chronologically, then we go to the part where they find the vibranium in the ocean and they mess them up. I want y'all to know terrifying. I was not rooting for the people in the helicopters.
Who's like, mind your business.
Mind your business. Stop trying to take things that not your... I was like, yep, get them.
I literally leaned over to Ishara and I was like, this is what happens.
Yep.
When white people be in brown people business.
Should have minded your business.
Leave it alone.
I know. And later on, what's his name was like, they were my friends. I was like, your friends was in the wrong business. I don't know what to tell you.
Why were your friends there? I'm like, why are y'all looking for vibranium? Leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
They don't want you to have it.
Nope. If it was meant for you, it would have been to you.
Yeah. And then, what's it called? The queen being like...
Queen Mother?
Yeah, Queen Mother being like, it's impossible for there to be vibranium anywhere else. And Sherry's like, well, I mean... Technically not. Like, a meteor could have struck anywhere else. Like, it didn't have to be just here.
Yeah.
And she's like, the world is mostly ocean.
She told them off in that meeting. I was here for all of it. Like, I was sitting there like, bloop, bloop, bloop.
She brought in receipts.
Yes.
She had the receipts.
Yes.
There and
seeing the intercut, and then they came in with the people and said, Neil. I said, okay.
Bro, she went off this whole movie, first of all.
Yeah.
She went off. I love her to death.
And then next. I don't even know.
I don't know, trying to go. Riri showing up, I guess.
I love her. New best friend.
She is absolutely fantastic.
She's like one of my favorites. Like that.
I want her, Shuri, and Peter Parker in one room.
That would be amazing.
I want them in one room.
I love a genius. Also, to her character, so many Tony Stark references. So many references to the first Iron Man. I kept peeping them and now I can't remember a single one. But there were a lot. Yeah. Like from, one was like the hammering with the making the suit. That was definitely one. Oh, when she was losing oxygen.
Yeah, when she
going
fell
up the same way that his suit was freezing and then they both dropped and then like made it at the last minute. I was like, they're getting all of Tony Stark's, or not all of them, but a lot of Tony Stark's like origins in his like Iron Man pieces into this in ways that make sense and feel natural.
It was nice. Like you could go through it without even noticing it. And then being like, oh wow, yeah, they did do that.
Yeah.
Also the guy being like, oh my gosh, she has an Iron Man suit.
Yeah. I know. It's so funny. He was clearly black too.
Yeah.
I love it, but she was hilarious. She was the funniest part of the movie.
Great. See, and that was like what I mean with like they could be funny without like it feeling like Thor Love and Thunder. They like kept it funny while also letting you feel your emotions. But the part where like Okoye was talking to Shuri and she was like, what about, is my makeup? Like, do I, and she said, yeah, ashy bald head. I was like, damn.
I know. You came with the speaker. I know
they kept talking about her bald head.
I know. Okoye, you looked great. Okay, like don't listen to them. Yeah, no, she was very funny. And it's funny because after those first like 2 scenes, I was sitting here like, am I gonna be doing anything but crying? Like literally, I was sitting here like, is there gonna be any emotion I was inside? When I was laughing, I was like, this is so nice. It's so nice to laugh.
They had a very good balance in this movie.
They did. Yeah.
And then what's next?
Then the action scene on the bridge.
First of all, the action in this movie
was so good.
Like, especially because they would do like the like slow-mo, and I usually don't like slow-mo, but they used it
the slow-mo
so well.
And they did it a lot, and every time I was like, this hits,
bro. Because I remember watching like Aquaman. So I watched Aquaman, and they used slow-mo. They used slow-mo so many times in that, and it was always bad. It was always bad. I didn't like it at all. But this movie, which is why it made me very weary about slow motion, but they used it so well. They had great timing for it. It matched the music perfectly.
Yeah, also they were very good at like intercutting scenes.
Yes.
Like really good.
Yeah, they
did that throughout the entire movie and every single time it worked.
Yeah, no, the fight scenes were so great. The fight on the bridge, I was scared for Okoye's life.
I was.
Let me tell you.
Yep.
The only reassurance I had was that I was like, oh, they're not going to kill anyone this movie, right?
Yeah. That's what we said when we came out of the theater. We were both like, there's no way they're going to kill somebody because we're all still mourning not only T'Challa, but Chadwick. That like, and they're not going to do that to Shuri. Like, there's just no way.
They wouldn't do that.
There's just no way.
So then she gets taken.
Leaves willingly.
Leaves willingly, but taken,
Taken.
She didn't really have a choice, but she did.
And then Okoye goes... First of all, when I saw her in that room, I was like, girl, oh, no. I don't know if it was a good move.
No.
Like, I understand why, because you had to report back.
She should have just went straight to get her.
But she should have just went to get her.
But I guess it's because she's like, I need people. She's like, if I go by myself, I'm
it's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
I was heartbroken. Okay, so we had a conversation about crying versus tearing up and how much of it we did. So, when Queen Mother was yelling her ass off at Okoye, I cried.
It was when she said,
tear dropped.
I'm queen, and yet I have no one. Everything I love is taken away from me. And I'm like,
Yep.
I'm like, she's right,
I felt bad for her.
And that's why
I felt bad for Okoye.
Yeah, that's why when she said that, Okoye was just like, there's nothing else you can say to that.
She put her trust in her.
She lost everything. She told you not to let Shuri go.
Yeah.
And like, obviously this whole movie, she was sitting there like trying to keep Shuri in a box because she didn't want to lose another person. And I'm like, ma'am, that's never going to like turn out well.
No.
But I understand.
Especially with little rebel child Shuri in the first place.
Yeah, like, no, she was never one for that. Like, and that's the thing, Okoye is like, I don't know, she went off on her own. She wanted to split up, like, there's only so much that you can make Shuri do.
Yeah.
She's gonna do what she wants, regardless.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, shout out to Ayo for the promotion, but like, I was sad.
Yeah. Good for you.
Because Okoye really did give her everything and always just tried to do what was right.
Oh my gosh, when Shuri was like, let's go visit my favorite, this is like backtracking, but she said, I'll go visit my favorite colonizer. For a second, I was like, think it was Bucky? I was like Bucky, but then I was like, she never called him a colonizer though. What they did, but like, well,
she did,
but he was yeah, what's his name was the colonizer.
Yeah, it reminded me of Bucky, but I knew that wasn't who she was talking about.
There was just a sliver of hope in my brain where I was like, Bucky, and I was like, no, he's not gonna be in this.
No, he's not.
I wish he was though.
Yeah, it would have been cool, but I think it would have taken some of the attention away, especially because of how people are with Bucky. So, you know what? I take it back. I'm glad he wasn't in.
Yeah, no, it definitely would have.
And it would have irritated me seeing all that about it, honestly. So.
I do want to see him in the next Black Panther movie. I want to see him interacting with them.
Maybe more in the next like Avengers team up. Even I'll take that.
But so next, and yes, to be a whore on this couch and to be a whore in that movie theater. Lupita's fine ass showed up.
Lupita's body,
let me just say,
is ridiculous.
Did she always have that ass?
Like, waist and not even where?
Like, to objectify her, because I love her as a person too. Like, she's just amazing and an amazing actress, and like, I love her. But damn, girl, every scene, it was just there,
just in our faces.
There was literally a scene where I told Tisha, there was a scene where we were like kind of on her side down, pointing up at them. And I was like, you want me to not look at her butt right now? Like, is that what you're telling me? You want me to pay attention?
She said, you're right. You want me to pay attention? You want me to listen?
You want me to listen when that's there in front of my face? Anyway, she did what she had to do. She came in. She was wonderful.
3 children.
Amazing.
3 children came up to Queen Mother.
They did. And they said,
asked who they were for, who she was there for. And now I want to rewatch immediately to get a closer look at those 3 children, see if there's anybody significant there.
Because there was also a child that was with her. So I'm like, but we'll get to that. So she gets enlisted to help find Shuri because she's a good spy, and you know what, she is, because she found them immediately.
Like it was nothing, like, bro.
She immediately got there.
I love that we got to see that they had a conversation. We got to see the world, and
yes,
I think that was a great move.
I think that it really, like, I don't know, it humanized them. Yeah. Like, it made you, like, not even just us, or not even just Shuri, but also us, like, these are also people. Yeah. And, like, and
I liked hearing their backstory.
Yeah, I liked hearing their backstory. I liked hearing about him, and, like, it was like exposition without feeling like exposition, you know? Like,
he was just telling her a story that made sense for him to tell her too. Yeah. So
I also like that they weren't like they were enemies, obviously, but it wasn't like, like they were having a conversation.
But yeah, exactly.
Like, they were still, and he gave her like the bracelet, and he's like, look, I don't want to hurt anyone, but this scientist girl gotta go. And Shuri's like, I hear you, but no.
She didn't even do it for them. They just stole it. They just took
it.
Like, they take everything.
Exactly. And that's what
the true villains.
That's what I was like, because I know a lot of people were very wary about, like, Namor, because they were like, oh, you're having the Wakandans, the black people, against what are they called? It's someone with a T, right? Or no, that's their city. Oh, I forget how to say their name. Anyway, but the Hispanic people, essentially, and having them, like, fight against each other. And I feel like they did it in a way where it didn't feel like they were, actually adversaries in that kind of sense. It was like, it was really just misunderstanding and like, yeah.
He wanted to work with them so badly.
Yes, he did.
Like so badly.
Like they also would have worked with him, but there was just this one thing that they weren't seeing eye to eye on.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I feel like
sometimes that's what happens. You know, sometimes it's not even like, oh, you're the worst person or this or that. Like not everybody is gonna be Killmonger killing everybody.
Yes. Like, and like he wasn't a villain.
No,
like he was just trying to protect his people.
Yeah, he was just the antagonist. The antagonist isn't always the villain.
Exactly. And that's what I think people were like, oh well, he's the villain. And I remember Ryan Coogler was like, he's not a villain. Yeah. Like he's not the villain in this story.
Everybody honestly, the villain is the American villain to somebody. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But like, and that's why, you know, not even, that was about to jump to the end. We're not there yet. Trying to go in chronological order. Trying so hard.
Yeah.
What happens next?
I don't even remember where we just were.
I don't know.
Oh.
We went to the world. We saw everything.
And then they got rescued.
Yes. And Shuri was trying to save her because she was like, I don't want to start a war.
And things were okay for half a second.
And they were not okay for Shuri because she was like, he coming.
She knew.
She was like, he's coming for us.
Yeah.
And then he did.
Yeah.
He came for them.
With some water bombs.
Bro, he came hard.
First of all, that water bomb, it went off in the theater. Like,
I felt it.
Literally. I jumped.
You sure jumped.
I did.
He and our other friend that we were with, she also jumped. I was like, oh, both of y'all got jump scared. I think it's because like my brain had done a lapse where it wasn't really like, it was paying attention, but it wasn't like fully paying attention.
Yeah, I will say the section right before was definitely and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it was definitely the slowest part of the movie. Yeah. So,
but like in a good way.
It was, and I'm pretty sure it was meant to be like that because that's why it got you.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it got me.
And then
he put the bomb. Exploded it.
He exploded like a few. He threw a bunch of them.
And the throne toppled. I saw it happening. And then they got pushed underwater. You saw Riri. She went after her and is struggling to swim up. And I'm like, it's okay, girl. I know everything's going to be fine. They wouldn't do this. They wouldn't do this to Shuri, and they wouldn't do this to us.
They wouldn't do that.
So she's fine.
We're already mourning a character. They would not kill another character.
Yeah. Like, we're good. We're good.
And lo and behold, Letitia Wright is screaming for her mother.
Bro. Oh, I cried there too.
I teared up. I
cried. That one definitely dropped into my mask.
I was like, oh my. I think it was more, I was just in shock. Because I was like, did they actually just kill her?
I was holding my breath hoping.
I was like, did they actually just kill her?
Yeah. The way she was screaming, bro.
She was screaming for her.
Bro.
And
listen,
like,
whatever you feel about Letitia,
she's a great actress.
Like,
great.
Exceptional. She is so good.
And you know what? Angela Bassett did her thing.
She did.
Queen Mother.
And then they had the casket with the face, and I was like, are you serious? Another one? You're not real.
Another funeral?
Absolutely not. M'Baku was great.
Yeah. Oh, and I was like, when we saw like Okoye crying, I'm like, she didn't even get to like make amends with her.
Yeah.
Like she died still mad at her.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
without like there being a time for her to like make it right. Like I thought she was going to.
She didn't even get the chance.
No.
She did not get the chance. Yes, M'Baku was great. You know, he brings the comedy.
He's funny, but he's also like very aware.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I think sometimes he's like funny, like obviously in the writing he's supposed to be funny, but like he's funny without trying to be funny.
Yeah, it's very natural.
Like he just is. The things that he says and does.
Is my future husband.
But like, you know, he can also be serious at times when he's like when he was like, the world has taken too much from you for you to be considered a child anymore.
I just remembered how I felt. It was right after we went through the scene of her screaming. I literally had a hard time breathing. I was like so choked up. It wasn't even like, oh, I can't breathe. Like, I was just so choked up by the whole scene. I wasn't even like crying. Yeah. I was like, this is so hard to get through right now.
I said it's because they want her probably to be in Young Avengers, and they were like, we need you broken.
And we
need you beaten down and broken so that you can help like lead the Young Avengers or something.
Like, oh my.
Because you can't be an Avenger if you're not broken down emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically.
Yeah.
And she gets all of those.
And then she gets determined. She's like, all right, we're gonna make that herb.
We're gonna make it.
And they did a little montage. I love first music. All the music was great. Music was so good. The montage music in particular stood out to me because it hyped me up so much. They're figuring out like we gonna dry his ass out. Like, I was like, yeah, it was
also like the cut scenes. They did it there too, where they were like kind of going back and forth between things, and I'm like, yes.
And then she got it.
Oh wait, we're not talking about like any of the scenes with Colonizer. What's his name?
The white guy.
Yeah, his wife is Val, or his ex-wife is Val. Didn't see that coming. Wow. When she said, I want to go and ride your Peloton, I was like,
I was surprised she showed up in the first place. And then she was like, yeah, I want to apologize for some things that I said during our marriage. I said,
marriage?
Sir, first of all, get better taste. What?
I was like, okay.
When were you married? When did you get divorced?
Right.
Why?
Also, he was
I can see why.
A real one, the whole movie.
Yeah.
He was a real one. He was giving them information.
African Americans.
Plus Mark.
And we rock with Mark because Mark's rocking with us.
But okay. Back from the white people. Where were we? Oh, she creates the herb.
Yeah.
And she takes it. And let's
just slow down for a moment.
Let's just slow down for a moment. Okay.
Okay, so we can all, I feel like, even if you don't want to admit it, I think we can all now agree that there was just a small, tiny, be honest, be real with us, right? Just the tiniest part who thought that maybe, possibly, Chadwick was going to be in there in some way we hadn't seen.
Yes.
Now, I didn't think he would film anything because I know he was very, very sick before they had even had like started, probably before the script was even done. Definitely, I mean, for sure. But I thought maybe it was possible he did voice work or something, and so I didn't know what was going to happen.
Because they got you. Because the chair, right? So she comes out the water. She's in the water. She starts off in the water. Let's start there. Then she's
in the water. She rises out. You see the purple. So it's like, all right,
we're in the ancestral plane.
Yep. So she has to see somebody.
Exactly. And then we see the chair. And then you kind of see something that looks like her mom's hat.
Something's there.
It looks like the hat.
There was just one thing I was afraid of. I didn't want them to do like some kind of Facetune, like
I feel like they wouldn't have done that with Chad because they were like, that's just like it feels kind of disrespectful. I didn't think so either,
but the thought came to mind. I was like, I just hope they don't go that route. And they didn't.
I thought I was on the route where I was like, did he like film something at some point and they just kind of like meshed it together in a way? Like, I don't know. And kind of like used the voice and like manipulated it a little bit to make it something. Because when it was on the back of the chair for so long, and then like the music started to shift, and you're like,
yeah, when it was on the back of the chair, I was like, oh, that looks like the mom's hat. But then it wouldn't. Nothing was happening. It was like the music was doing weird things, and then like there was no voice. They were taking too long to show themselves. I was like, going on.
And
so I was like, this can't just be the mom, because otherwise she would have just like read it like, exactly, hello.
Yeah.
So no. Like, what's happening?
And then we round the chair.
We round that goddamn
Never once
chair.
in my mind did I think her dad was going to show up. Let's just start there.
No, that's not true. I did think about him for a second.
I did not.
I did think about him for a second. At all.
But anyway, we round the chair.
We round that chair.
And who is sitting there?
Bro!
But Mr. Killmonger himself
had me on my ass. Had all of us on. The whole
theater
like, gasped.
Like,
gasped. I think my heart fell out of my ass.
But like, it made so much sense because of where she was in this movie. She was angry.
Yep.
She said,
he was like, you asked for me.
From the beginning, she said she wanted the world to burn. Like, she was
pissed off.
And it made sense that
she was
subconsciously she would call him, because he was like, you didn't even believe that any of this was real. Like, you didn't believe in it. So like,
you didn't take the urge to see
exactly. He's like, you weren't thinking of anybody. You weren't trying to see anyone.
And
your
Michael
subconscious
B. Jordan still gave an amazing performance. Everybody was like,
I know everybody was having hope
about whether or not he was gonna come back.
Yeah, they were like, "Is he dead? He's not really dead, right?"
And like, I kept going back and forth because like his in line is like such a hard thing, like, to come back from.
Yeah,
and it's so I don't know. It was a possibility, but I was like, I don't know if they would do that.
Look, he's getting his Marvel check, and what if?
Love that for him.
Maybe he'll come back as another character in the multiverse.
But yeah, and he oof.
Another Bishara's husbands.
Yeah, but I'm not even being a whore on this couch right now. I'm just saying, what a talented man.
His
delivery is great, and
also go ahead. Sorry.
Said everything that I would expect for him to say. Yeah.
Also, his little like shirt thing looked really comfortable.
Yeah, he looked like he was vibing.
He's just sitting in that chair like, "What's up?"
Having a great time.
He said, "Hey, cousin."
Yeah, little cousin.
But I was like, when the fire started,
I
was like, ooh, I was like, she mad. She mad. And it was when she woke up pissed.
Yeah.
And she was like, why didn't they come see me? Why this, why that? And they're like, who did you see? And she's like, no one.
Nope, nobody.
And then punched that Dora Milaje suit and it went flying. They said, oh, so you are the Black Panther or the Black Pantheress.
Yeah. And then, then she like hopped up in that meeting, like, this is what we about to do.
Well, first she suited up.
Yes.
The song when she suited up was phenomenal to me. I was like, ooh, yes. I need this whole soundtrack. I'm gonna need the whole soundtrack.
Yep.
Yeah, and then she hopped up in the meeting.
Said, what's up?
Did a arm wrestle with M'Baku to make sure that she was actually strong.
They said, whoo, whoo, whoo.
And then she told M'Baku, she said,
yeah, we're gonna kill that man.
Yep, she was like, what my mom wanted for me died with her. It's what I want now, and I want him dead, and you're going to help me. Thank you.
But he was spitting facts too. I was like, oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
No, he was, because he was like, what? Like, if we kill him, they're just gonna keep coming.
Never ends.
And like, that's what I was thinking about too. I was like, don't kill him, because like
he was a god.
It's just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
But she was mad, and there was no reasoning with her.
Yeah,
like you couldn't.
But this is why like, okay, so when you're talking to somebody who's in that place and they're not really hearing you, it's not good to push, but like you can still say things to them because it might register later, like when they're in the moment and when things, like when they're confronted with the truth of it, and then they have to really make the decision. Now, not always are gonna do the things like that are, I don't want to say right, because just because you're saying it doesn't mean it's right, but like the thing that would be perceived as right, but you never know what might come through. Just don't push too much, because then, they might out of spite just not listen to you.
I mean, that's why he was like, okay, we ride at dawn. Let's go. He's like, because he was like, I told your brother that I would protect you. And he was like, she's going to go regardless.
What's the thing at the funeral? This is going back a little bit. They had a conversation, and she was like, she mentioned the line that he said to her in the first movie of like, you're going to listen to a child that scoffs at tradition. And then he was like, "You're not a kid anymore after everything you lost."
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier when I was like, he said that the world took so much from you that you're no longer considered a child. How old is Sherry supposed to be? Anyway,
I don't know. I think she was in the first movie. She was supposed to be like 16. So 16, maybe 15, and it's been a few years. She was dusted, I'm pretty sure. So she's probably in her late teens, early 20s, because it's been a few years.
Okay. So then we suit up. We all
we battle.
At the battle. Or not at the battle. We are getting ready to go to the battle, and then that's when that scene comes up where Lupita's Ash is in the camera, because she takes her hands and she's like, "Tell me who you saw," and Sherry's like, "No, I'm not gonna tell you actually."
Man, Sherry spent this whole movie mad.
This whole movie mad, and it's so understandable because she lost everyone, every single person, every single person.
You really did.
Everyone.
You did not have to do that to her.
You didn't.
She can't nobody.
And then we go fight.
Yeah, I think it's just the battle. It was a good battle.
It was a really good fight.
Yeah.
I like the callback to Okoye fighting the warrior, the warrior guy.
Yeah.
Ironheart made her full appearance, and it was great.
It was great. I love her suit. I like that her helmet kind of has cornrows. I love that.
It's so cute. Everything is so cute.
Yeah, she's great.
What creeps me out about the water stuff is when they start bringing the whales. I'm like, can we leave them at home, please?
I know. Every time I saw them, I was like, oh my goodness.
But I was always like, I would be one of those people just riding on the whale because I'm like, swimming seems like it'd be a lot of work. I'm gonna just latch on.
Siren power.
When that first showed up with the first time, I was like, oh my god, they're like actually like mermaids. They're like sirens. Like that's so cool. That power is kind of dope. I don't know.
It's a very cool power.
Yeah, they was bringing everybody, and then when they finally started to get Namor, I was like, oh, like he getting got. They
figured out his weakness.
Shuri got him, trapped him. She was like, thirsty?
You want
he
water?
Said, ooh, it's hot here.
It's a little hot. Can we turn the air on?
I was thinking that she should have took his spear from him, and then he started stabbing the plane, and I was like, you should have took his spear from him.
Yeah.
But I guess it was like he wasn't like locked in there.
Yeah.
So like he could still come out and fight her.
They got to the desert.
They crashed.
They crashed to the desert.
No, they exploded into the desert, actually.
To the desert. And they were fighting there. And then...
I mean, and you know what? Namor was right, because he said, I got more warriors than you have blades of grass, and he did.
Bro, they kept coming out the wazoo.
Out the wazoo.
Bro.
Like, where did y'all come from?
Not to skip forward, but in the end, when he said what he said to his people, and then she said Wakanda forever to her people, and it was just this little tuft of people who said Wakanda forever. I was like, y'all really was about to die.
We in the movie theater should have said it. We with them.
Literally. Because they were very much outnumbered. I can't do nothing for y'all, but like, I got you here.
In my heart, in my soul. Yeah, so they got to the desert.
They're fighting.
They was whooping each other's asses. First of all, Shuri,
it was a fair fight.
She was getting thrown into everything.
Yeah. And
then she ripped off the wing. When she did that, I said, because they kept showing his wings, and I was like, somebody just cut that off. Just cut his wing off. Like, just at least one. Or just 1 foot. Just cut wings. And she ripped them Johns off. Yeah. I said, ooh. He screamed.
Sounded like it hurt. Yeah.
It sounded like it hurt.
I imagine. Can that grow back?
I don't know. He might just be wingless.
It's okay. I hate.
It's okay.
It's okay.
And then Shuri got impaled.
Bro.
Impaled.
That was the other time where I heard the audience within the theater.
Yeah.
We all said,
oh no. They kind of did.
Bag one.
They kind of did a Tony Stark. When he got impaled, and you're like, oh, no. No, this can't be it, right?
I know. I was like, no way.
I was like, there's no way they're going to kill Shuri.
Literally no way.
No.
But I also said that halfway through the movie. So I was like, I'm going to just stop saying things.
I was like, I'm scared.
What do I know?
For her life. I hope they don't do it.
I was scared, especially after. It's like when Queen Mother died, I was like, well, nobody else will die. But at the same time, I was like, but they just killed somebody and I didn't think they would. So I was scared for everybody.
I was very scared.
I was like, this could go either way.
And then she pulled herself off of it. I closed my eyes, so I didn't see it, but I heard it.
The one time I heard Anya.
It sounded disgusting. And I was like, no, I'm not watching that. I
couldn't look away.
Yeah, I didn't want to see it, so I closed my eyes. And then she like flipped over him.
So
he was like, I need some water.
He said, all right.
I know. I was like, sir, you know that you can't fight her right now.
He did know.
And then
which is why when she brought him down, he was just like, I do what you gotta do.
Wakanda forevered and blew up something.
I thought she killed him for half a second.
His back was crispy.
Yeah.
She roasted him like a marshmallow.
Okay.
And then he was sitting there, and you know, she had her moment of clarity. She had her moment where she was like, this is not going to solve anything. My mom would not want this. My brother would not want this.
Yeah.
Also, he's just trying to protect his people.
Yeah.
She saw his people. They are not bad. They're not mean. They're not evil.
Yeah.
He was just scared
and
of the same thing that they're scared of.
What she said was very similar to what T'Challa said at the end of Civil War about not being controlled.
Yeah, revenge consumed us, or revenge controlled.
Yeah, consumed by revenge. Yeah. And it wasn't like word for word, but it was very close.
Yeah, she said it in her own words.
Mm-hmm. Which would make more sense. Why would she say it like him?
Yeah.
She wasn't there.
And also, she's not like him.
She's not. She's made that very clear the whole movie.
Very clear. But yeah, she was like, yield, you know. And then he saw his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, you're right.
They are the same person.
They're the same. That's always how it is.
Yeah.
This hero or the protagonist and the antagonist are usually two sides of the same coin.
Yeah. Mirrors of each other. He was a very good antagonist.
He was a good antagonist. I also liked his acting. I liked his acting.
He was really good.
He was really good.
Just like the whole time.
I enjoyed him.
Ryan Coogler can bring out a performance.
Bro,
let me tell you.
He's a great director.
Great. I can never understand a word he says, but what's most important is that they do. So.
But then Shuri and Namor show up on the ship like they best friends, and they like. Yeah, Namor's like, yeah, our fight's over, we going home. And then
I know they were mad.
He said what they say. What's their thing?
I forgot. Oh. Fully forgot.
Oh my god, it's because I don't remember the name of their place. It starts with a T. I would need to hear it so many more times before I remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But and then, you know, Shuri said Wakanda forever, and
they said
they all Wakanda forever.
All 12 of them.
Then what happened after that?
A few goodbyes. Like just wrapping things up.
Yeah.
They got what's his name out of not jail, but like he was arrested. They got him out. And
M'Baku showed up at the like little fighting ring, and he said Shuri's not showing up right now, which I guess means that Shuri doesn't want to be queen, which makes sense. She didn't seem like she ever wanted that. So M'Baku was there to fight someone for the crown, but we didn't get to see if anyone stood up to fight him.
Yeah.
So he might be king.
We'll find out next time we see him, I guess.
And you know what? I feel like he'd be a great king.
I think he'd be a great king too.
It's funny to have a very level head.
The first time he showed up ever, you were meant to hate him.
Yeah, you're like, no, he's like awful. Terrible,
right?
But now you're like, no.
Even by the end of the first movie,
yeah, it was like in this one when he was like, we live in the wilderness, but like we have access to books,
right?
Like we're not dumb, we're not like uncivilized people, you know. And because that's what they saw them as in the first one. They're like, oh, these uncivilized people living in the mountains. No,
he just had a lot to say.
He had a lot to say, and he's a very large man. He's scary. So anyway, we don't see who he's fighting. We don't see if he fights anyone.
Yeah.
So we don't know what happens there. Then Riri leaves, and
dips.
Shuri's like,
gets the car.
Yeah, she gets her car back. It was her stepdad's car. Was her stepdad's car or her dad's car?
I think it was her dad's car.
Well, no, it was her stepdad because she said her stepdad taught her how to do cars and stuff. So I think it was, I don't know. Either way, father figure. It was his car. But she couldn't take the suit, which makes sense because Shuri's like, I can't just let you leave with that.
We'll see it again.
We will. We have to. And then she wants Shuri to come to Chicago with her, but she's like, can't.
Because she got to make it a run.
She got to make something to do.
She makes that run.
And you know where she runs?
To Lupita.
What's her name?
Nakia,
yes.
And
this is the scene.
Get to the fire.
Where I cried.
And she burns the clothes and she cries. I teared up.
I cried. Because that really it looked like just like Letitia crying, you know? Like that just looked like raw emotion. And, you know, she could just be a great actress, but like I assume there was emotion there because, you know, we saw the images of T'Challa and like
it was silent.
And the thing that they always did with him, whenever they like showed video of him or like kind of mentioned him, it would be silent. Amazing. What they did with sound in this movie was so good.
Yeah.
And like it really hit home because it just made you like, they wanted you to sit and think and feel. And I love that. One thing I didn't like about that scene, but that I noticed was that she throws the outfit. She's supposed to throw it onto the fire, but she throws it next to the fire, and then it cuts to the fire and it's like right on top of it. And I'm like, that's not where it was. But I digress. Then they go through the credits. You know, they stop on like a single man tear coming down her eye. And we go through the credits and they, you know, the pretty credits where it's like the flames and all that stuff. And they give the title card.
Yep. And Nakia comes back.
She comes back and guess who she has with her?
A person.
A 6-year-old little boy.
Was he 6?
I don't know, but he was like around that age. Because she said that she left 6 years ago.
Yeah, so I thought he was older because he had talked. I don't know. But,
well, no, because she left 6 years ago, and that's when they said she left when the snap happened. So, like, she was already pregnant, I think, and then she left, I assume. I don't know.
No idea. I remember because
he thought looked like he was like
I thought he was 6, and then something happened, and then I was like, maybe he's older. I think the fact that they had a conversation about like he shouldn't grow up with pressures of the throne or something. I was like,
yeah, maybe he might be a little older then.
Might be a little older, and like he just didn't talk about him before.
They were like she left. I don't know, because I thought it was like she left before.
It could be that.
That's how I thought
too, but I also thought it was a possibility it was the other way.
Either way, T'Challa got a son.
She got a child.
She has a child. His name is T'Challa.
Yeah.
I forget his
other
name.
His Haitian name.
Yeah.
That is perfect because
so cute.
Everybody, first of all, I can't tell you how many times I'd seen like as many people who were like, no, we can never recast T'Challa. There were a whole other loud group of people who were like, no, the legacy of T'Challa should live on. So I feel like this was the
perfect way to do it.
To like meet in the middle. Like the legacy of T'Challa does live on, and they did not recast him, and so that character and iteration of T'Challa just lives on as Chadwick.
Yeah.
And you know what? Anybody who would have tried to play Chadwick, that would have been so much pressure.
Also, it seems like she like her and the son, they knew that he was sick because she was like, he prepared us for his death, and so like, but told me not to come to the funeral.
Yeah.
And they had their own thing.
Yeah.
And he did meet his grandma. But she didn't know it was him who he was, but he did get to meet her.
Yeah.
They got to meet each other.
That's sweet.
And I think it was just so cute, and honestly, it was perfect. It was the perfect way to do that. He was so
your
cute.
name's cool too, I guess. Oh my god, I love you. Everybody was like, oh,
I just want to like hold your face. You're so cute.
Yeah, you're so cute.
He was absolutely adorable, and you know what? I would expect nothing less from their kid. You know, like two good-looking people, their kid is bound to be a cutie.
Yeah.
And then that was the final end credit.
Yeah.
And you know, I kind of liked that they didn't give it another one.
First of all, they didn't even used to do double.
They didn't used to do double, but also like we didn't need an end credit alluding to a different movie, you know? Like it was good to just stay with this movie and stay here, and that's it, you know? Like we didn't need anything moving us to the next one, any of that. We didn't need any. So
movie was incredible.
Movie was great. I loved every second of it.
When we were walking in to Black Panther, there was some random guy who was like, best movie of 2022. And
you know what, sir?
I wasn't even doubtful. I was like, all the reviews have been good, and I felt like it was going to be good. So when you said that, I was like, you're probably right. And I'll hear that argument.
It is definitely one of the best movies this year.
Definitely one of the best, if not the best. I will hear the argument. I feel like at that point, like, it just goes to personal preference.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like this and Everything Everywhere All at Once for me. Yep. It's one of those two.
Yeah. And maybe there's a third one that I just didn't see. I don't know though.
Maybe.
But of the movies I've seen this year, those two have taken the cake easily.
I definitely want to see it again.
Yep.
Like I give it 1,000,000 out of 10.
Yep.
It was so good. I don't know if there's anything else to say. There's like just like little things that I remember, like when she hung up on her mom and she was like, you just hung up on the queen. She was like, I hung up on my mother. There's a difference.
And like, period.
Like there is. She's like, queen to you, mom to me.
Okay.
I hung up on her. She's fine.
Right. Like, first of all, you wouldn't hang up on me. Like, we're in two different places here.
Exactly. Like, look. Also, are those two not what's it called? Are they dating?
Yeah, I think so. It was her and Ayo, I think.
Yeah, her and Ayo. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're dating. And that's so cute because she said my love and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, they're gay.
Also,
I love it.
It's so funny because I didn't think that the Daniel Kaluuya's character from the last movie was I didn't know they were married. I thought they were just like lovers or something until they called him.
Is he like husband. Never gonna be in another movie? Is he just too busy?
She said that he's around somewhere.
Well, I mean,
like,
yeah, because
treacherous husband is able to be visited, so I don't know where he is. He ain't in the movie though.
Because they were like, he's not a soldier no more.
No, probably doesn't walk around. Not welcome to.
Probably not. People probably don't want to see him.
Are they still married?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Must be, because she said your husband. She didn't say your ex-husband.
Right.
They must be still married.
Is this like a culture without divorce or separation? Because maybe.
And that's like when she was like, I stood by you when you stood with Killmonger, when you stood with him against me. Yeah. I still stood behind you. And I was like, you did do that.
Yep.
You was like, I serve Wakanda and whoever leads Wakanda. Like, girl.
And like, I get it. I didn't judge you for it. Like, I understand traditions, beliefs, all of it. But like, you got the queen and the princess, and you're like, nah, we just gonna go with this random guy who showed up 2 seconds ago. Like, that was a choice.
Yeah.
It was a wrong choice. I'm not gonna hold you on it. I'm not gonna judge you on it, but I'm gonna let you know it was the wrong choice.
What I love about Shuri is like her like tradition, how she doesn't follow the tradition. Like she does to an extent. Like she holds it with her, but she's kind of like bringing it into the new age.
Yeah.
Like she's like, traditions should evolve. they should grow with the times and what's happening.
Which makes sense for a scientist.
Yeah, she's like, no, I don't want to be like buried for this thing because you need to look at my chest and like, you know, she's like, I don't want the whole ceremony, whatever. Like, she believes in science, not in, you know, the ancestral plane. But I'm like, go talk to Moon Knight, okay?
Yeah.
He was there for a solid minute.
Yeah, I feel like
or no, he wasn't there, but he was
in the afterlife.
He was around.
He was in afterlife. But I feel like it makes sense because like if you grow up on traditions, especially traditions that strong and sacred, like you're gonna hold at least some of them.
Yeah, like you can't not hold some of them because they're in you. It's gonna be
second nature.
Yeah, they're a part of you. But then there's also the ones that she wants to go against.
Yeah, or even like just shift.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah. Which is why I was like, I feel like if she was queen, it would be cool, but she doesn't. She doesn't want that, and I'm good. I'm happy for her. She doesn't need it because she's also like, what has that crown done for anybody in my family except get them killed?
Bro,
like that crown has done nothing good for her family.
The way every other day you turn the news on in the Marvel universe and see that somebody else died, you just gotta sit there like, man, y'all going through it.
Yeah, like what's going on in Wakanda?
Literally.
My goodness.
Dad, then brother, then mother, all in the span of just a few years.
Just a few years.
Like 10, give or take 5. Like
depending on if you were snapped or not.
You know, just like a few years. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, we saw this picture where somebody was talking about in Thor Love and Thunder how they had like an ice cream, a Thanos Infinity War like ice cream stand, and I was like,
that's in poor taste.
That is in poor taste. Somebody was like, that's like if they had an ice cream shop for like 9/11 or something. Right. Like that was a global. Like, thank you.
I want an ice cream and now I'm triggered.
Right. Like what if you were snapped, and you're like, really?
What if your baby was snapped?
What if your baby was snapped?
Okay.
So, like, with the people who were pregnant, if their baby got snapped inside of their stomach, was it like, would it come back in there?
I don't know. I guess if you're pregnant, do you count as population? Because he kept saying half of the universe's population.
I guess
not just like every living
and life. I know that I think they were like, well, what he asked for was that everybody came back safely. So like if people were like in airplanes, they're not just gonna pop up in the sky, you know? Yeah, I think he said everybody comes back safely.
Assume if you were snapped and you were pregnant, then it's just that it's you plus the baby and you come back and there's the baby. And then other than that, the baby can't be snapped. That's my best guess. That's what makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Now we're just
talking. Okay. Well, we hope you guys liked this little review. We went shot by shot.
Yeah.
Scene by scene.
Yeah, and I'm sure we forgot things.
It was
you can bring
it
up.
It didn't feel like a 3-hour movie.
No.
It didn't feel like a 3-hour movie at all.
No.
But it was great.
You can bring things up, but just like we said, be very careful.
Be mindful.
If you're I mean, if you got to this point and you're reading the comments and you don't have to be wary of spoilers. We just said the whole movie.
Don't be wary of spoilers, but if you watched here, be wary of what you write.
Yes.
So make sure you put spoiler alert if you're going to spoil. And if you're not going to spoil, just be general.
Yeah.
And if you just want to say hi, say hi. Hi.
Hey. Hey.
Do we do it if you watch to the end?
Yes.
If you watch to the end,
put
some water? I don't know.
I guess so.
Oh, I did want to mention that I want Sherry's the bead earrings. Those were nice. And it could translate. Gauges? I don't know. Were they gauges or just? I think they were just earrings.
Oh, they looked like gauges to me, but they might have just been earrings.
I think they just had a hefty back.
It was because there was another pair of earrings that she wore that also reminded me of gauges, but they might have just been earrings because I don't remember her having gauges when she didn't have earrings in.
Her funeral fit was cute.
Yeah,
I was like,
both
okay,
times. I was like, not to be, you know, insensitive or whatever, because this is real sad, but like all these fits look great.
The funeral looked lit,
the funeral,
though.
I love that it was a celebration. That makes perfect sense.
I mean, yeah, because that's what most culture, or not most, but that's what like
it makes
a lot of other cultures do.
For a culture that, you know, believes that it's
just not the end.
Moving on to right.
Yeah.
And that's the type of funeral that honestly many people in my family they want.
I feel like that's, yeah.
Like, it's not just like mourning what you lost. It's a celebration of life and a celebration of like your relationship and like how you know, there's more than just like what's gone.
Yeah.
You know?
So. I always said that I want a Viking funeral. I don't know if that's offensive or not. Said that if it is, let me know. But I also would like everybody to just sit and watch Goofy movie. That's all I want. You don't need to talk about anything. Just sit and watch Goofy movie. That's
because, you know, she wants you to celebrate her life the way she lived her life.
Yep. Watching Goofy
movie and not talking about anything serious.
Exactly. No need to talk about your feelings. Don't even cry. If you cry, you get kicked out. I'll be there as a ghost, being the bouncer.
If you did not know.
We didn't finish if you watched to the end.
If you watched to the end,
give us some water, any kind of water, and tell us if you saw the movie, what you thought of it, and if you haven't seen it and you watched this to this point, why?
Go watch the movie.
And are you gonna watch it?
I hope you do.
I hope you do.
If you watched us, it won't have the same effect, but I hope you watch it regardless because the shots are gorgeous, the music's gorgeous, the acting's amazing. Like we're not gonna just do that justice, so go check it out, please, if you want.
Also, the one trailer and that we saw, the Avatar trailer, made me realize that movie is so much sooner than I thought it was.
Yeah, that movie's like basically out.
Like, what?
Like literally, we could have gone next door and watched it.
I think it's because they've been saying that the next one was coming out for so long that like
20 years.
My brain is just like, no, it can't be next month.
No, it doesn't make sense. We're about to live in a world where there's 2 Avatar movies.
Wow. They said the 4th and 5th one will be canceled if this one doesn't do well. So, let's see. Looks good. All right. We're really just chatting. It's 2 a.m. and I have work in the morning.
I gotta go to bed.
Bye.
See ya.